What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 125. We're starting season off on the back of the win over Levante with Pedro Porro saying he's ready to come back into first team duties. Buzzing with that as well because Wagnerman's been filling in the gap in Porro's absence, but I really like Pedro Porro. He was amazing last year for me in my Barcelona realistic career mode. This year haven't had as much of a chance to use him due to that 4-month layoff, but finally he is back. And coming back in a win over Levante, as we know now, the league is the only domestic honour we can win this season with Real Madrid. We have a double-digit lead, we're entering the business end of the season, but after Barcelona dumped us out of the Copa del Rey in the quarter-final, and of course Atletico beat us in the Super Cup in January as well, simply put, I'm doing my best Stevie G impression. This does not slip now, and I'm going to make sure that's the case. First game of today's episode, back in the Bernabeu, Mallorca coming to take us on, and we take the very early lead through. That man, once again, chasing the golden boot. He's a cert to win it, Roberto Gutierrez. I don't think I'll ever get close to Messi's record of 50 goals in a single season, but Gutierrez will be another one there, and he chases a potential 40-goal season this year with Real Madrid. Now, there's only two players who ever scored 40 goals for me in a single season before. Ivan Toney, who was a legend of the Sheffield United career a few years ago, and of course in the first 5 seasons of this one with Brentford as well, and Samuel Bell in my Court to Glory save last year. Gutierrez has a genuine chance this season. But after Mallorca pegged us back on level terms, I was thinking, I cannot afford a slip up in this game. We've already just had a loss to Barcelona, we lost in January to Atletico in the Super Cup as well. And whilst we haven't lost in the league since way back in the first half of the season against Valencia, I believe it was match day 10 or match day 11, and we're still unbeaten at the Bernabeu as well. I needed to make sure this was a big 3 points. Ansu Fati would restore our lead, and then 65 minutes after Streniak catches a corner, quickly launched it long towards our second goal scorer Ansu. Great first touch, beat Rodriguez, then used his electrifying pace to get around the Mallorca back line, goes through one-on-one, and oh, you love to see it! Another goalkeeper assist. They're so rare in my career mode saves. You get maybe 1 or 2 a series. Well, that's the first for Streniak, who's been absolutely brilliant. Mike got one, I believe, in our first year with Milan, assisting Moise Kean, and Streniak gets the first goalkeeper assist of Real Madrid, assisting Mr. Ansu Fati, who got goals 2, 3 and 4 in what was a 4-1 victory. Ansu with the hat-trick. I keep on saying it, the former Barca wonder kid now turning out at the Bernabeu and turning up in this game. 4-1 the final score. I gotta be honest though, that despite the comfortable scoreline, it really wasn't like that during the game. Mallorca found their leveler, and really this game just came down to it was more clinical. Like pretty much the only chances in the game resulted in goals. There were 5 goals, but really there were only 5 chances. It just came down to it was more clinical, and in the end, that was us. 4-1, the final score. Fati's hat-trick mainly to thank for it. It was so cool seeing Streniak get a goalkeeper assist. I've absolutely loved Streniak in this Real Madrid team, and I love that little glitch there in the interview in the post-match. That was class. But yeah, I think Streniak in this team is incredible, man. Seriously. And again, we got Neuer's regen sat on the bench. He's got potential to be special, but I made the choice at the start of the season to keep the Slovenian between the sticks, and it's paid off. He's been absolutely sublime this year, and getting a goalkeeper assist is a cherry on top of the cake in what has been a great season for him. Still for the second game of today's episode, right before AC Milan at the San Siro in the Champions League last 16 first leg against our former team and the holders. Celta Vigo away, and they almost took a shock lead. Streniak rounded, but the woodwork bailing us out, and then on the other end, the exact same thing. 24 minutes in, Ferran Torres up the other end hits the woodwork, and it's still 0-0 after the post is struck at both ends in an end-to-end sequence. But 40 minutes into this game here, against Mallorca, didn't play too well, didn't get the clean sheet, and against Celta Vigo, I was conceding a lot of chances on my goal, and 41 minutes in, well, I had the chance to sign him in the summer, and the chance was gone come January, because he'd moved on to Celta Vigo, though he was a transfer target of mine, and he's come back to haunt me. Rafa Mir gives Celta Vigo the lead, and Real Madrid trail him right before the break. It's 1-0, Celta in front, and I was thinking, I gotta be honest, I'm starting to lose my grip on this title a little bit, because for a long time it seemed like a formality. This title was going to be ours, but at the moment, well, let's just say we're looking a little bit more shaky, particularly on defence. And whilst we still do have a firm hand on it for now with a double-digit lead, I'm starting to feel a little bit nervous. My back line is going to have to improve. Thankfully, I know one thing for sure. Whilst my defence at times can be, let's just say, suspect, on the other end, we've got no such problems. Right from kickoff, you know I love those kickoff goals. Nico Melamed drills in, and I mean drills in our leveller to make it 1-1 and fire in the equaliser. And 55 minutes in, 10 minutes after the restart, thinking, okay, just like against Mallorca, let's turn it on in the second half, let's win this game. A golden chance to go 2-1 up. Ferran Torres denied, it was still 1-1, but to Celta Vigo's credit, despite them being right down the bottom of the table right now, they weren't going for a point, they were going for all three. They sensed they could win this game, and they were giving us the chances to attack on the break by throwing so many light blue shirts forward, but also causing me cause for concern at the back. And speaking of cause for concern, is Porro glass in Spanish? Because I think it might well be. Pedro Porro goes up for an aerial duel, and in his second game back, he goes off on the stretcher again. Can you believe it? He's literally just come back to first team duties. And Pedro Porro goes up for an aerial duel, lands awkwardly, stays down, and is forced off on the stretcher. He couldn't even last 2 full games before he's off injured once again. Absolutely typical. And with 17 minutes to go, with them be putting me under pressure, you got to credit their bravery. Celta Vigo found a goal to restore their lead, get back in front, and Rafa Mir turns in the rebound and wins the game for Celta. And what did I say earlier on in the episode? We've lost to Barcelona, but that came in the Copa del Rey. We've lost to Atletico, but that came in the Super Cup. But this is just our second defeat in La Liga after our loss to the Mestalla earlier on this season. I did not expect it to be Celta Vigo that would end our winning run in La Liga after, I think it was 14 straight games. It is over, and Celta Vigo get the big 3 points there. And the bad news continues. Pedro Porro dislocated his shoulder. He's going to be out for 2 months. He might well come back for the very end of the season. But this guy, I'm telling you, man, I think it might be better just to say, look, your season's done, because you clearly can't keep yourself fit and you can't avoid those injuries. So unlucky. But again, I always talk about it. It's a good thing. You know, it adds to the realism, it adds to the immersion, it adds to the challenge. But poor Pedro Porro, man, we signed him from Man City and I was calling one of the bargains of the season. Well, clearly Pep studied his medical report more than I did, because Porro just can't keep himself fit. Done for 2 months. It's not a big blow because Wagnerman's been great in his absence, but even so, couldn't even last 2 months back, and he's down once again. Still for the third and final game of today's episode. This was the one I could not wait for. Champions League round of 16, first leg away at our former team AC Milan at the San Siro against the current champions. And as I showed you their squad there, you know quite a few players have left. We've got Castaneda, Menezes and Gutierrez, of course. We know that Santos moved on to Atletico, Timmermans went to Liverpool, but for the most part their squad is still incredibly strong and hasn't changed that much. But I did like the fact that now Milan Skriniar, who's the only new player in that first 11 for Milan, is now the club captain. Yeah, former Inter Milan, I'm not going to say icon, but certainly fan favourite and solid centre-half, Milan Skriniar, is now captaining their Milan rivals, AC Milan. I'll talk about it. Realism goes out the window when you're 80 seasons in to career mode. But taking on AC Milan, I could not wait for it. But on the back of the loss to Celta Vigo, I was feeling a little bit nervous. We haven't been playing well, or especially well of late. We're obviously missing Pedro Porro once again. We're a little bit fatigued after a heavy run of games. And Milan, the champions, away, our former team. Well, let's just say the nerves were real. So heading into the game, I needed to get a foothold into the match early, and I wanted a bright start. And 19 minutes in, Roberto Gutierrez! Real Madrid in front inside the first 20 minutes, and all he had to show the respect for the team he captained for 2 years to a treble and 6 trophies in 2 seasons. Roberto Gutierrez comes back to his old stomping ground where he transitioned from a great striker to one of the world's best, gives us the lead, and then a few minutes later, gives us the assist for our second. I think it was him that got the assist. Ferran Torres running through one-on-one, gives us a quick fire double. We're 2-0 up in Milan, and I was thinking, this is it, baby. This is what we needed. Tough run of form out of the Copa del Rey. That competition gone, the Super Cup gone in January as well. A loss to Celta Vigo, a shock one away in La Liga, and Pedro Porro going down. How do we respond? How about this? First leg of the Champions League, first knockout round against the holders and our former team, and we're 2-0 up. But these guys are the champions for a reason. We assembled a brilliant squad in 2 years. Of course they were going to hit back, and they did. 5 minutes before the break, Nicolo Rovella with a simple finish after the cutback makes it 2-1, and Milan, right before the break, get a lifeline courtesy of the guy that we signed from West Ham. It's 2-1, but 10 minutes after the restart, again, I said it, I'm not going to let this slip. We've been the better team. We look great on offense, and 11 minutes after the restart, get in! I was fist bumping like crazy at this moment. Ansu Fati going down the left, whips it to the back stick, and who's there at the far post to head home? Federico Valverde. The Uruguayan's first goal in Europe this season restores our 2-goal cushion, makes it 3-1. He was having a great game from the middle of the park all game long as well, with Milan's high-powered midfield to deal with. He was doing a great job, and 71 minutes in, after Ledesma plays this incredible through ball to Fran Garcia, he cuts it across to Roberto, who just about gets his feet sorted to deal the oncoming Mike and drill it past the Frenchman and former teammate for our 4th at the San Siro. Final score, AC Milan 1, Real Madrid 4, and talk about a bounce back. The champions, the holders, one of the favourites, torn apart by their former club captain, Roberto, the goal machine, Gutierrez. What a pickup from Real Madrid, and that's how you respond from a devastating defeat to Celta Vigo, which no one saw coming. Well, it was worth it for that big win against our former team. In the league, that loss means we are still top, and the gap has been cut to 11, 13 games to go, still the firm favourites, but worth pointing out now, we've given the other teams a bit of a lifeline in their chance to rescue a title race. But that will end today's episode of Karima, guys. Massive thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. If you have a like, much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you for the next episode of Karima, featuring the second leg against AC Milan very soon.